Hello there. Can you guys hear me? If you can, please let me know. I know I'm a little bit early. I couldn't be bothered to wait, which is alright. We can still wait a minute before we actually do anything. See if I can hear me. Chip. I'm actually opening the YouTube window as well because chat is much quicker there than in StreamYard. Hi Daniel, can you hear me? Da-da-da. I'm gonna have to assume that you can hear me. Yes. Cool. I don't know when it's the live stream, does it doesn't do that weird thing with the countdown thing like it does when you premiere in, does it? I'm just glad you hear me. Okay, cool. So, questions and answers. Get your questions in, and I'll try to answer them. 10 of you here right now. So, if you have something to ask, do it now. Let me know what's going on, etc. I don't have anything prepared today. I don't have a sneaky question like I had last week that I could discuss for 10 minutes. So let's just crack on with it. So Thomas says, hi Pim, just had a recheck, HDL 66, triglycerides 73 in reference to a question last week on your livecast. I guess I was worried about nothing, thank you. Yeah. The thing is also, I can't even remember if I mentioned that, but if you test your blood lipids today and you test them again tomorrow, you might get two totally different values. And that might have to do with your stress levels, with how well you've been sleeping, obviously what you've been eating, if you have been eating at all, how long you've been fasting, you name it. So, sure, if it's seriously out of whack, then it's probably most of the time seriously out of whack. But when it's a little bit high or a little bit low, it doesn't actually mean anything. And I think we need a new reference guidelines for people who are doing a low carb or people who are carnivores, etc. Because when they're establishing a reference range, they take a bunch of people, they measure them, and then based on that, and healthy people, what they consider healthy at the time, they measure it, and then they make a curve so that will look something like that. So in the beginning, no, this is going to be opposite for you, so I'll try and do it backwards. In the beginning, it's going to be people who are low, and then the majority of people are going to appear up here. The curve will go down, and then you will have a few people who are high. And the very low and the very high people, that might be normal for them, or it might not, but they won't be considered normal because when you have the reference range, they will have a cutoff somewhere up near the peak, however far out they go. Sometimes they go to 95% or something 90%, so they have 5% on each end or 2.5% on each end that are considered abnormal. Sometimes they go a bit narrower, etc. But something like that. So just because you don't fit that bell curve, it doesn't mean that you're not normal. Because what's normal to you isn't necessarily normal to someone else. And all these people that they measure normal on are probably eating a standard American diet type of diet. If they went to, let's say, the Inuits or something and measure those measurements to get a reference range for that particular group of people, they would have a completely different reference range that was considered normal amongst these people. So, you know what? It's good that we have blood testing, but a lot of the time, especially when we're not eating a normal standard American diet, it doesn't mean anything, unfortunately. Okay. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Good point, Daniel. Lukey, are you coming on my live stream? Come on, get on camera. Let's see then. Oh my god, I'm hopping all over the chat already, even though we barely started. Okay. What's Richard saying? Go get a coffee, come back to some obnoxious salad advert, lol. YouTube is like a child, you just can't trust unsupervised. This is very true. However, click the salad, advertise, close it down again, and I will get paid. It's awesome. Nesra, Pim looking smiley today. Good vibes. Yes. Am I not always smiley? I didn't feel smiley yesterday. I was fine in the morning. I woke up and I felt really good and I had kind of lots of energy. I got a lot of work done. And then maybe an hour after lunchtime, I did do something. I don't know if that triggered me, but I tried to make a a carnivore eggnog. So I just whipped up some eggs and added some heated cream and milk and a bit of sweetener. And cinnamon, and it tasted awesome. And I drank that. I've never done that before. It was an experiment. And then I went to read on the sofa and I just fell asleep and I woke up with some sort of headache, migraine, and I just felt shit the rest of the day. I don't know if it's the cream because I'm not doing well with dairy. Could have been, or it's just the week catching up with me as usual. I have a habit of kind of crashing on Saturdays nowadays, unfortunately. So yeah, I didn't feel smiley yesterday afternoon at all. Let's see what's going on. Hey Pim, hoppas allt är bra med dig. Patty Ann, I suppose you're Swedish. Everything is good. I just told you I was not good yesterday. Today I'm fine. I managed to get rid of the headache, I think. It's kind of lurking there. I can feel it, but I feel quite okay. Still a little bit tired, but it is what it is. That's what you get when you get up early in the morning. No smoker yet, I'm afraid. Maybe soon. Is a smoky to meat like a toasted bread? I think so, and I love the toasted bread actually. So I also love smoked meat, and I love smoked meat on toasted bread. But I don't need the bread. It's not for me. It's always actually been about the bread is good, but to have when it's warm and the butter is melting, and then you have the smoked meat on it, that's just like heaven. So maybe I have to heat my smoked meat and put some butter on, and that's going to be great. I hate the term normal. It really means the same thing as healthy. Yeah, and that's so very true. So if you take a sick population and you measure what's normal, you're not going to see what's healthy. And unfortunately, that's the problem with a lot of things that we are looking at. And, when we grow up and if we listen to the authorities, we're going to think that, this is all normal because this is normal. And they're telling us that this is where it should be. But maybe that is only where it should be if you are eating the wrong diet. So I think we need to kind of establish new guidelines for people who are eating differently. So take people who have been, carnivore or low carb for at least a couple of years and see where they're at. Probably going to get something totally different. That are going to look very unhealthy in many aspects if we're comparing them to the values that we have today. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Unfortunately, no one's doing it as far as I know, but maybe they could. Hi, Trouble. Double Trouble. Necro. Jones, I'm lurking today. I got chores to do, but I'm listening. Well, it's nice to have you here, Necro Kitty. And Lukey. Are you actually here, Lukey? Or are you exercising at the same time? Good. Go and do some push-ups. Richard, Nasra, I liken it to a toasted sandwich maker for a carb eater, not an everyday use, but glad you have one. Sure. Normal's an individual thing. My normal is weird. I think most of our normals are weird, so maybe we are normal. I don't know. Wouldn't be any fun to be abnormal, or I mean normal, or you know what I mean, I think. Interesting. Yeah, I made the same recipe for eggnog and I had the similar feelings. Now you scare me. I want to try it again, but now I'm scared of trying it again because I don't want to end up with another kind of migraine-like headache. It didn't quite develop to a migraine because when I woke up, I just actually took a lot of painkillers, which I don't like to do, but I felt like this is going downhill very quickly. So if I hadn't, it probably would have ended with a migraine. Yep. Swedish people. And speaking of Swedish people, yesterday I had another interview with Philip from Gothenburg about his diet. So if you've been waiting for that one, it won't be out this week because I have another interview waiting, but it will be out the next week talking about raw and rotten meat. And yeah, it was really, really interesting. And I found out a few things that I've actually been wondering about. And one of them is liver. So I was actually discussing this with Mr. K the other day, and we were talking, or he was listening. I was talking because I'm always thinking and scheming and calculating things in my head and thinking about things. And if you have, I can't remember what the RDA is anymore. God, I got a really itchy nose today. For vitamin A, if you eat about 50 grams of liver, you are literally above the recommended daily intake for vitamin A. So if you were eating 50 grams of liver every day, in theory, you would be eating too much and be at risk for vitamin A toxicity. And I'm going to sneeze in a second, so I might have to turn my microphone off. I've been waiting for this. Sneeze into my hands and I can't touch anyone, or you might get corona. So anyway, where was I? And if you have, so 50 grams of liver would, in theory, give you vitamin A toxicity. Now, Philip had been eating liver every day for 3 years, and he's eating about roughly 150 grams per day, and he does not have vitamin A toxicity. So I found that very interesting because I've been wondering, how much can we get away with? Because liver is so nutritious that we want to, obviously, if we like it, why wouldn't we eat a lot of it? It's probably very good for us. So yeah, I just found that very interesting. So you can listen to that one when it comes out. Nesra to Richard von Prague. Not sure what a carb is. Never met one on this weird diet I'm on. Well, some carbs, just not many of them. Muscle glycogen. I had carbs yesterday. I will hang my head and sit in the corner for a while. Oh no. Daniel, what smoker is good, Pim? I'll see if I can find the one I found before. I mean, I don't have any experience, so if someone has experience with an actual smoker and you think that's a very good one, then, feel free to share that with me. But I found this one before, which had some good reviews. I'm going to share this one, if I can. Here we go. I think. Yay, smoker. No. Can't even make it bigger anymore. I don't even know what's happening here. Anyway, so this one is called Pro Ranger Elite, and that one it's actually $500 now. Before it was like 300 and something when I first sent it to him, who should be buying that for me. So now it's gone up, and literally, no, you don't show it here. Here we go. So it has different layers. You can just do like smoking different things, and you can open on the side, take things in and out, etc. And you can also barbecue in it if you like. That one had quite good reviews, and it was also decently priced, especially when it was on offer. That's not the case anymore. Maybe we should just be waiting until it's on offer again. So that's what I found that was affordable, sort of. So yeah, other than that, I don't really know. I'm not a smoker expert. I might buy it, try it out, play around with it, and then decide that actually I'm missing a lot of things. That's usually what happens. Like when I buy air fryers and I realize that this is not big enough at all. And Bot had a go at the air fryer 2 days ago. I don't know if he was extremely grumpy. Apparently, the meat is never warm when it comes out of the air fryer, just so you know. And it doesn't cook it properly, and it gets all weird and stuff. So apparently, he doesn't like the air fryer at all anymore. I don't know what's going on there. This particular piece of meat that I was cooking wasn't good, so I kind of went to the Mad Butchers, and they had a lot of sirloin steak, and I just bought a large pack. And they're really watery, and with it doesn't taste of anything. It's really, we're wondering if they have been injecting it with water just to get the better price for it. So we kind of, I usually don't go to the Mad Butchers, just that they had like dog bones and beef heart and everything there at the same time. So I just went and bought some stuff. Usually I'm going to a different one. So we probably won't be buying any more sirloin from there because it didn't taste good. So it was watery. Water was coming out of it on the plate. And apparently it was cold still. And it wasn't properly cooked, although it was almost grey all the way through. God knows. Anyway, he's fucked off with the air fryer. So maybe I hope to go back and fry in frying pans. I'm not so bothered about frying my food much at all right now. So anyway, so if you want to tease him about it, you can do that in an hour and 15 minutes. And now Patricia ate grapes. I've heard about those grapes. That was planned for though, so that's fine. I met a vegetarian today, not sure who should get flogged. I don't know. Are you going to flog vegetarians for being vegetarians? That's rude. My pizza trumped your grapes, I think. Yeah, I think so too. How are you feeling, Richard? Are you feeling okay? Sometimes we can cheat one day, most of us can, and then we're fine, but some people really don't feel fine. Oi, Tatiana, I'm from Gothenburg, what a small world. I lived in Gothenburg for a couple of years. First I lived for 1 year on Hisingen. I was renting an apartment from a friend. And then I bought an apartment on Stockholmsgatan. But then I met a guy in Stockholm, so I moved back. That was like half a lifetime ago. But yeah, Gothenburg is nice. I like it. Let's see. Nesra, don't touch vegans. You don't know where they have been. You guys are being rude, aren't you? I did a bot for dinner. Let's see how long it takes me to get back to normal. Yeah. How many eggs does it take to kill a salad? You guys have really good questions today. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I can help you and answer all the questions, etc. Ate a tiny piece of pizza tonight and I'm suffering Costco pain. One would think I would have learned my lesson long back. It's not. Yeah, I get it. When I had my interview with, or my chat with Emily from Center of Brilliance, and she's suffering from MS and bipolar, and if she strays at all, she gets really, really ill and might have been in pain and feel terrible for like a week. In those circumstances, when you get punished straight away and it's that severe, you're probably going to stay away from it. However, my picture's frozen. I think I'm back. However, for us people who are not severely ill, we stray. I can literally cheat 2 or 3 days in a row with most foods, and I don't suffer. Then I might suffer with a delay. Sure, I might get fat, etc., but that it's all taking time. So I'm not getting punished right away. So it's really hard to stay on track. So for most people, when we kind of, it doesn't matter, I'm prepared to pay the price. if we're being rational about it, we're not prepared to pay the price. But in the moment, we're always prepared to pay the price, unless we are being severely punished for it, like with an autoimmune condition or something. The absolute terror ones feel when seeing a veggie-based person's skinny arms. That was funny because I saw this was on Twitter, and Paul Saladino had tweeted a picture of him and versus what's his name, first name, Gregor, the doctor, MD Gregor, whatever. And Saladino is quite fit, and Gregor looks like a stick doll or something. His arms are just like sticks. That's funny. Anyway, that was just a sidetrack. Costochondritis. Okay, I get you. Now I know what you mean. I thought you meant Costco, and I thought, do we really have that in Sweden? We didn't have it when I lived there. One egg and a lot of meat is like a meat salad for me. I like eggs. Eggs are good. Right. Smoker, make one from a fire gate and some bricks, just saying. I suppose you could. Might be a cheaper option, and maybe I'll get my smoker then. I just need some bricks. So chat, anyone going above 140 grams of protein a day? Interesting. Yeah, okay, so I definitely don't. Let's see. 140 grams of protein. Richard says, I try to eat 500, 700 grams of meat a day, sometimes add protein isolate and milk. So roughly 25% of that would be protein. So Richard probably reaches 140 grams plus. The Mad Butcher, it's not below a barbershop, is it? It's a chain here, so I don't know. Maybe one of them is below a barbershop shop. Yeah, it's a chain. They have mostly meat, but they have milk, and obviously they need to have some sweets as well. Daniel Smith, I love air fryer. I've never had a problem. Yeah, he's always complaining I'm using it for everything. I don't really know why he's saying that it's cold. And then he blamed the plates for being cold. And I said, we've never heated the plates. And I don't even know how many years we've been together. And I don't know if the food has always been cold, but he's not said anything for like 6-7 years. I have no fucking clue. Oh, sometimes it's funny. It's funny when he's kind of losing it, because nothing makes sense. It's just like, this world is shit all of a sudden. Even though it's been like that for years and years, all of a sudden everything's wrong. Shh, don't say I said that. Necro, I've been making mistakes with Searsol. What the hell is that lately? I don't have it down yet, though. Report back when I figure it out. Steaks are coming out colder than my air fryer. I might do a mix of the two. Not sure. I don't know what that is. I have to Google. Sometimes I feel like I don't know anything. Okay, so it's like a searing lamp torch thingy. Okay. Well, that would probably make it colder. Let's see then. Richard, feeling foggy but okay. Wrecked my sleep and work with gut pain. Okay, that sounds a bit yucky. Runner, I made ice cream, creamy egg yolks, vanilla, touch of honey. That can be my egg salad. That sounds delicious, to be fair. I think I made a lot of ice cream, but for some reason, if I go to the supermarket and I buy ice cream, I get less side effects than if I'm making it myself from cream. I don't know what it is about cream, because cream should, in theory, be better for me than milk. Because I know that I have been, at least in the past, I've been very sensitive to whey protein. but it's something in the bloody cream. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's what actually happened yesterday with the migraine headache. Oh, okay. So Richard is very skinny. Maybe not skinny. But you don't weigh much. I struggle to eat the amount I do, and it's often. If you struggle to eat it, why do you eat so much then? Can't you eat less and maybe, fill up a little bit with fat if you have a problem actually keeping your weight? Yes, I've had to stop making that ice cream too delicious. I would feel the same way. I would just want to eat it all the time. I get bad reactions, I think, because I'm in perimenopause. It's crazy time as it is. Add carbs, then you're in some real hell. Yeah. Oh, Daniel, what do you think of the latest saturated fat paper that Dr. Berry and many have been talking about recently? I haven't watched it yet. Patricia put me onto that yesterday, and I have it on my watch list. So that's probably what I will be watching very soon, like tomorrow at work, or listening to anyway. I often listen to things at work, so while I'm doing work, I'm actually on YouTube or Audible, listen to audiobooks or something, and taking mental notes of things. So, Daniel, can I get back to you next week? And you usually hear, not like Zach, ask me a question and then he doesn't come back. I hope he's not here. He's going to be offended. Oh, God. Daniel. Okay, let me listen to that during the week, and I will get back to you in a week's time and let you know what I think about it. Gregor looks like a voodoo doll, yeah, a little bit. And he has this hollow face as well. I don't know if he's just born ugly, but I don't think his diet helps him. Bo! Hi, beautiful. A Pim Jansson, looking good. Send you a little picture anyway. Necro. Costochondritis is how my chest cartilage inflammation started 18 years ago. I'm finally pain-free, but I still have puffy cartilage. That sounds painful, to be fair. Beef, what we call Scotch fillet, is if a good price. Beef mince, fatty pork, almost never eat chicken nowadays. Yeah. It's good. Thomas says 150 grams of protein, leaky gut, and trying to catch up. Blah, blah, blah. See, Rene, let's see what you have to say. You're talking amongst yourself. I'm reading your comments anyway, because I just go through them and then find something that I want to read and put it up on the screen. So, yes, I know what you mean. I only make it a couple of times a year. Don't have a freezer, so take it to a friend's place. Can't be a habit that way. That's pretty good. That's a good insurance for overeating on carnivore ice cream, if you like. Kung Fu, can I start this stream again because you're late? Sure, why not? Let's start again. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Kung Fu is here, so we can now start. Let's see if he has any questions for me, or if he's just here to cause some trouble. Just like trouble. Taylor Marshall, any tips on overcoming the guilt associated with going back to eating animal products after being vegan? That's a consultancy issue. I mean, that's very, very individual. It's really hard for me to sit here and tell you, anything that would help you, because I don't know what you're actually thinking and why you're feeling guilty. But there are so many, articles or whatever, people writing things up or making videos about actually how many more animals you kill by eating a vegan diet than you do eating meat. So you might not consume the actual meat, but you are probably killing or responsible for, having more animal lives on your hands being a vegan. So just think about how many hedgehogs, reindeer, deer, rabbits, mice, whatever, actually being butchered every time someone is harvesting a wheat field, for example. You can start there. There are lots of fluffy, furry, cute animals actually being killed doing that. And then you're destroying the habitats for a lot of other things like, I don't know, frogs, birds, whatever, if those lives are counting as well. So yeah, to actually properly help you, I would need to talk to you. So it is actually a consultant's issue if you want to go down that route. But you can kind of start there. So I don't know why you're feeling guilty, but have a look at those kind of things and learn about the actual consequences of different types of agriculture. If you're just having uh, cows eating grass, that's probably going to be much better for everyone than having artificial wheat fields that are being sprayed, and you kill everything that is hiding in there when you're harvesting, etc. All right. Cream still has protein, so wouldn't it have whey in it? Yes, but what I'm saying is that milk has more protein in it, so that would have more whey in it. So I don't know what the problem is, why I would be worse off with cream. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's all. In the States, many creams have emulsifiers. This one does not. Necrokitty, I like this searsole because I can make the blue steak possible with a good sear. It doesn't heat the inside, so I kind of need to pre-warm the steak somehow. Or you can get used to eating it cold. I'm just saying. And it's funny because I do feel a little bit like you. If I slice it really thin, and I can kind of call it carpaccio because it's thin, then I enjoy it cold. But when I have a thick steak and I'm having like a big piece of meat, I prefer it at least lukewarm. I don't know why. It's probably maybe, psychological. I don't know. Um, Uncle Alf. Yes, I noticed that last time I was in Sweden. Some brands they actually add that shit too. I can't remember what brand that was, but it wasn't the normal brand, like the traditional Arla cream. And I was kind of shocked and sad that it has gone that far in Sweden as well. But no, there's no such things in this particular cream. It's just cream, which is why I'm a bit surprised. But I'm not convinced that it's necessarily the cream's fault that happened, but it could be. Okay, my costosh started after a fall, bruising my ribs, and then I landed in Peru, and it's been a yo-yo since then, around 4 years in. Wow, that sounds kind of annoying. Do you eat the carnivore diet normally, and does that help? Or have you found something else that kind of helps you, or is it a slow kind of healing process? I'm a bit curious. Yes, thumbs up. More thumbs up. Now I lost the chat again. Too much cream used to give me the trots after drinking lots of milk in the last couple of months. I think my body is handling dairy better and now can go a bit more crazy with cream. Okay, that's good. Let's see. I'm trying to find questions. I don't know how certain people can sustain being vegan for so long. Even when I was in my early 20s and I thought that, being vegan is probably a good thing, I always say that I can't do it because I like meat too much and I don't like beans and such things. So that's probably never going to work for me. I did try to eat like vegetarian maybe once a week or once a fortnight or something like that, just because I thought it was good, but it's really not the same thing. It's very unsatisfactory, and it's almost like you're eating hollow food. I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say that, but it's like you're eating, but it doesn't feel like there's any substance in whatever you're eating, and it's really strange. Um, and then they say, "Oh, you get used to it. It's just because you're used to eating meat." But yeah, I think I prefer that. Ness. I'm 89 kilos. I eat minced beef, pork, eggs, fish, chicken, assorted seafood, cheese and cream. I'm currently on an egg fast. Okay. I guess that means that you don't have eggs rather than just having eggs, which would be a little bit strange. 4 6 eggs, and sometimes just yolks with half and half, and sometimes whey protein added to that, plus a few scrambles with some meat for breakfast and hard boiled eggs for snackers. Holy shit. You guys are eating so much food. I'm kind of fascinated. Taylor Marshall, no being has a moral obligation to. God, I can't. Has a moral obligation to sacrifice its health in favor of the well being of the species. Natural law. Yeah, this is true. And you know what? I'm not always doing this, but if I have a choice, I'm usually trying to, you know, buy the better foods if it's been grass fed, etc. And I know a lot of meat in New Zealand is grass fed, so I'm not so worried about it. But what I'm worried about, or kind of thinking about a little bit, is, I would like there to be some labels saying that these animals have been treated well. They've been grazing on the fields and then they have been treated well closer to the end of their lives. We don't have that, so it's kind of a little bit out of my control. But if you can do that, if you know that sometimes when you order meat online, for example, you can do that research because they have done it for you. And I've been with a couple of online meat delivery companies in my life, or maybe three, and they've all kind of said these farms are where we get our meat from. Not all of them, but some of them have specifically said that these are the farms where we get the meats from. You are welcome to come and visit. This is how we treat our animals. This is what is happening when they send for slaughter, etc. And that just makes it feel a bit better for me anyway, knowing that they've had a really good life. And sure, it's always probably going to be a bit stressful to be moved and then, obviously be executed pretty much. But knowing that they have actually had a good life helps me feel better about it. Yeah. So Lucas Freedy's stream. Are you coming online then? I'm gonna have a quick look. He's not volunteered yet. Daniel Smith, I just saw that you just joined, but don't worry, we just restarted the session as I was also late. No, he was here before. I'm pretty sure of that. Yep, it's the Arla cream, but only the 36% one. Yeah, I think it's like a kind of a very long, skinny bottle, isn't it? I didn't know it was Arla, but my mom had it at home, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It contains shit, and it's not the normal 40%. So they kind of substituted 4% of the fat with thickeners, which is crazy. And Sweden in general, at least when I lived there, and it feels like low carb, high fat is actually widely accepted. So I don't know why they're trying to go that way. And I know that cream was cheap as well, so maybe that's why they do. Oh yeah, we can get it down and looks healthier maybe, and we can sell it a little bit cheaper because we add thickeners and we save some fat. Awesome. Okay. Patty Ann says the normal ones, Ica, Arla, Granat, are all only 36% cream. Blah. So, but the normal Arla cream that I'm thinking about is always 40% in like a Tetra pack. Maybe they changed that. I haven't been in Sweden there for I don't even know, 2.5 years. Exactly, he was here from the start. So there. Oh, I knew it. So Patty Ann says, I don't eat full carnivore, but more low carb, high fat. It definitely helps because it keeps the inflammation down. I do eat veggies, but reducing slowly. Okay. It might absolutely be worth a try and try to cut them out and see if that helps. If it doesn't, then, feel free to add them back. But it might be that one of the veg that you are eating, or several of them, might be causing you some trouble. There's only one way of finding out, and it's by taking them out and then putting them back in and see what happens. I try to keep the 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio, then I am not hungry for another day. I have about a pound of food in this ratio a day, or varieties. Fat to protein ratio. So are you talking in energy percent or in actual weight? So that obviously makes a little bit of difference. And the interview I have coming out on this Tuesday for most of you is with a biohacking chick, or Sylvia is her name. And she has some really interesting figures to share with you about her protein to fat ratio and what she's actually seen happening when she's changing that around. And it's totally 180-degree turn to what I've seen and most women have been talking about. So she's eating very high protein diet and not, she's eating fat, but higher protein. So that was quite interesting and eye-opening. So clearly, even for us women, this can be the case. And I think everyone has to just try out and see what works for them and how that works. And what works now might not work next year. It's shocking the number of people that are going totally vegan in Sweden, or maybe I'm unlucky in having them all in my workplace. I do know a lot of vegans or vegetarians in Sweden, but I thought that was because I used to work as a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, etc. So a lot of my friends are in that into fitness of some kind, and a large bunch of them are yoga teachers, and pretty much every single one is vegetarian or vegan, because that kind of comes with the role almost. I have to send them to carnivore yogi. But I'm sad to hear that. And yeah, people in Sweden are very health conscious. So it doesn't surprise me that people want to try it. I mean, my sister tried to be vegan for a while. No, vegetarian, I think. Because I remember her boyfriend was eating cheese still. But they gave it up when it was barbecue season. They just couldn't do it. So I'm quite happy about that. Patty Ann, is it okay to add whey protein to your diet? It's okay. I don't think that is necessary. I don't think, if you can eat the protein that you need in meat or any, eggs, whatever you're eating, I think that is better. Who needs to add protein, extra protein to the diet if if you are exercising really, really, a lot and heavy, etc., and you can't eat that much meat? Maybe that could be a good option, but it's also processed. So I would prefer if you didn't, literally. It's not the worst thing you can do, but I think that real food is probably always better. I never tried it, but some recipes do say it is a good substitute. Maybe I'll give it a try. I gotta find a small pack though. Well, if you've never done it and you survived so far, I think don't do it. That's my opinion. Uh, uh, uh. Basically, eat whatever doesn't screw you up. This is a good point, but at the same time, sometimes we don't even know. So you might be thinking that you feel pretty good, and then you remove something and you feel a lot better, and you didn't even know that. You could feel better because you thought you were good. So sometimes it's actually worth just doing an elimination diet to see how you feel and then start adding things back to notice whether you are reacting to any of those foods at all. Taylor, yeah, I hate supporting factory farming. Local, I try to eat the most, but isn't always practical due to budget. No, I know that. You can always, if you tolerate eggs well, that's kind of even free range eggs are quite cheap to come by. You can kind of up your egg intake in your diet to try and, make it a bit more light in light in your budget. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. To make it a bit more affordable is what I wanted to say. See, maybe I can blame that headache still. Something's not quite right up there. What do you think, Pim? Can we grow large Inuit-like livers by going 300 grams of protein a day? That's an interesting question. Yes, I was asking for questions, and then you asked me very strange questions that I feel like I have no clue. I have no idea at all. Livers, if you cut out half your liver, I think it just takes like a couple of days or something for your liver to grow back. So liver is, the livers are very capable of restoring and regenerating and growing, etc. So if any organ was going to do that, then it's probably the liver. But I don't know. I have no idea. Why don't you try it? How would you tell? Would you do like an ultrasound to see if your liver has been enlarged? How do you know if your liver is growing? Maybe it's Greta worship. I really hope not. She's fucking insane. Or she's just paid for pretend to be insane. Uh, Daydreaming about the logistics of seal farm breeding, thinking about the fat Inuits, etc. Oh, seals are so cute. That's a strange thing. Oh, I wonder what seal tastes like. I have no idea. Think of it as you are a secondary vegan by eating beef. I'm not sure that's gonna work, but if you can do that, that's probably good. Would be cool to have a seal farm and live in an igloo with an abnormal liver size to prove. Yeah, okay, you do that, and when you do that, I'll come and visit, but it sounds a little bit too cold for me. Patty, I'm very sorry to hear about Sweden. I thought they were intelligent people. Don't judge us all, Sea Runner. We're not all fucking crazy. What about the profile of the fat, vitamins, and omega must be better than beef fat, I would think. Probably, yeah, I think so too. I'm not entirely sure, but you're definitely going to get more omegas. But I think with seals, you might get more unsaturated fat as well. Let's see if we can find that. Fat profile of seal. Okay, let's see if I can share that with you. All right. So, can you guys see that now? Yes. Okay, cool. So, mother pop. I don't even know what this is. I just found this very quickly. Composition of blubber fatty acids of a hooded seal mother in comparison to that of a pup at birth prior to first suckling. Values are weight percent of total fatty acid methyl esters. Blank spaces indicate component not detected. Okay, so everything that has 12 0, 14 0 has a 0 here means that it's a saturated fatty acid. So this is 12 carbons and no double bindings, so it's a saturated one. Mostly it's 16, I can't even remember which one that is. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to go into sneaky. That's palmitic acid, I thought it might be. So it's mainly palmitic acid in that saturated fat, and then you have lots of 16 ones with the actual. So this is a monounsaturated fat because it has one here, which means that it has one single binding rather than double binding at the 7th carbon, etc. So it doesn't even have percentages here. So seal babies are a bit more saturated than grown-ups, clearly. Or they just have more fat in general, because this is much higher for both of them. Okay, so let's not waste all day doing that, because we could probably be doing that for quite some time. But there you go. That probably didn't answer your question at all. But I'm probably going to have a little bit of a closer look when we're done. Let's see then. Patty answers. A couple of years back, everyone were on low carb, high fat, but now with the environmental thing, Greta effect, they are looking at vegan option. Total madness, according to me. Okay, that sounds disappointing, I must say. And I'm a bit sad that it has gone that way. I've always been kind of proud to say that, you know what, LCHF in Sweden is quite big and a lot of people understand it, a lot of people practice it, and I think that's a very good thing in Sweden, because naturally people up there would have been eating more fat, etc., with the climate that we have, especially in winter. So that would be normal and probably suits the Swedish genes a lot better than a vegan diet. Great talk with Sally Norton. Was wondering if you can expand on limiting bone broth consumption. I usually drink about 3 to 4 cups per day, homemade, wondering if that's too much. Does it cause you a problem, Harut? Because if it doesn't, it's probably not a problem. 3 to 4 cups is, that's a decent amount of bone broth to be drinking. But what I would do is cut it out and see what happens. If you don't notice any difference, I don't think you are actually getting, you probably don't have a problem with it. It's probably not causing you any problems. So I would start with, looking at why do you want to do it? Does it serve any purpose for you or not? Because bone broth is pretty good, like nutrition wise, or you get your electrolytes, you get some of that bone goodness with doing it. So if you can utilize those amino acids and you're feeling good and it doesn't just convert to oxalates or whatever, and maybe they complement your normal amino acid intake, so it's not a problem for you. So I want you to write in the chat again if you actually think you have a problem with it. If you don't, keep doing it. I wouldn't necessarily start eliminating things if you don't have a problem with it. It's like, do I have a problem with eating blueberries? No, I don't. So I'm going to keep doing it, probably. Unless I get sick of them, then I might not. I think seals are like cows, but they graze underwater, but there are no humans there to mess up the grass. Well, you say that, but there's a lot of shit in the water, isn't there? Poor Greta. In my whole opinion, her parents are abusing her. Yeah. She probably enjoys it though, because when you're that age and you get a lot of attention, you probably think that you're pretty good. But there's a downside to that as well, that, you know, when she's getting all that critique, you're usually quite sensitive in that age. So I hope she's doing okay, but I wish she would stop. What do you make of the argument against the random cycle? If that were true, why aren't babies diabetic? I'm not sure why babies would be diabetic because of the random cycle. So the random cycle isn't. It's just determining how you're using the fuel. If you are eating too many calories or too much energy for what you need. So if babies like me, because I didn't do anything but eating and sleeping when I was a baby, and I was actually quite fat. The doctors told my mom to stop feeding me, and she didn't. So I was quite fat for a while until I started growing up. Then I normalized, but that's probably what's happening. That's, you know, too much of everything. Diabetes takes many years to develop diabetes to start with, but diabetes isn't just about, if you were breastfed and you were eating too much, you could absolutely get fat, but that doesn't mean that you will get diabetes. Fatness doesn't cause diabetes. Diabetes is more caused by things like fructose than just glucose alone. That's why you also have these societies of people that eat a very high carb diet and they are fine. You don't find diabetes there. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the ideal diet for them, but they have been doing fine on that. And two of the things that I think are very important there are, they're probably not overeating because they're just eating natural food. So they will be fine in that aspect, and they're not going to get fat because they're using all the energy and they're usually quite active. When you're eating so many carbs, you're going to probably be a farmer and you're going to be using your body and you're going to use a lot of that energy constantly. So you're not kind of overloading your system constantly. And secondly, it's just glucose. So starch is glucose, and that is not anywhere near as damaging as fructose in that regard. So yeah, babies wouldn't be diabetic. If you were living on breast milk your whole life, you wouldn't be diabetic. And no, it just wouldn't happen. You could be fat, but probably not diabetic. God, still sneezy. I'm not sure, I missed that one. Okay, let's see. Greta didn't do very well in Alberta. That province is cattle and oil country. Good. I hope she considers quitting that job. Patricia says it's because babies are growing so fast, and realistically, children as young as 2 have been diagnosed as pre-diabetic. Yeah, okay, so, but they're probably not just fed breast milk, Patricia. So what I was talking about was a baby that is fed what it should be fed, not formula, because formula contains a lot of sugar. And if you give that to babies and you just like priming the whole system with sugar, you're going to get some damage, and that's probably going to set them up for being diabetic at a very early age. Yeah. I'm guessing it translates to inflammation and disease in adults because we don't need to grow. Yeah, but having said that, it depends on your diet, obviously. So I'm not sure, what was the initial question? I thought it was, but you didn't actually specify. I kind of just assumed that you meant breast milk because it contains some sugar as well as fat. Be watching. Hi from Montreal, Pim. Do you have any dietary advice for getting rid of or preventing headaches? I'm just nursing a cup of chicken broth with my grey salt. That's funny because I had a headache yesterday. I've suffered from headaches my whole life. Like, as far as I remember, I had them a lot in school as well. Obviously, they got worse and more frequent as I was growing up. When I went low carb, high fat the first time, it was like, poof, gone. What happened? I don't have any headaches. Now don't have many headaches. Sometimes I have, you know, what I can get is like period migraines. So usually the day after my period starts, and that can unfortunately hang on for almost a week. So it kind of gets better the day after, but it's not gone, and then it gets a little bit better, but it's still there. If I'm eating well, most of the time I say I'm only getting a headache and not a migraine. Sometimes I don't get much of a headache. Sometimes I do. It seems a little bit random, and obviously you can get inflamed from other things than food as well, with stress levels, etc. I also work in a lab, so I'm smelling and breathing more chemicals than I think I should be doing. And yeah, so the only really good tip I have for you, be watching, is A, go low carb, because that usually seems to take care of that for many people. But B, especially if if you have migraines, what seems to be the case is that if you overeat anything, even low carb food, that seems to be able to trigger a migraine. And then you also have other things like heat, stress, those kind of things can trigger migraines in certain people. So I don't know, you're asking for headaches rather than migraines. I've never been able to stop headaches with drinking more, whether that be salt, salt water or just plain water. It always seems to just go straight through me. It doesn't seem to help for me. For some people, it does help. And in that case, I think chicken broth with grey salt is probably brilliant, if that helps. If it's tension headache, massage, whatever. But, are you stressed a lot? Then you might want to find a way of de-stressing, because that can trigger a lot of headaches as well. I'm sorry I can't give you a definite answer, but it's a little bit, it works very different for different people as well. Okay. So Harut says, don't really notice any negative effects, but maybe I can try to reduce it and see what happens. I've upped my consumption since I recently cut out coffee. Yeah, I mean, do that. Do a little experiment, and don't change anything else. Just cut the broth out. Obviously, you might want to eat a little bit more food, but just eat the same food as you already do. Do that for a week or two. See what happens. Do you feel better? If you do, then maybe it was a problem. If you feel worse, then maybe you needed electrolytes or whatever. Coffee is a major macronutrient. Protein, fat, coffee. Yes, of course. They waste so much seal meat after they club and skin them. They just dump the meat. It makes me angry. It could give the native Inuit much more income. Yeah, that sounds like a waste. That would make me angry as well, and it does. I think the nose to tail argument. All of the animals should be used where possible. Yeah, totally agree. Christina, if you can't live without that macro coffee, then you really do need to cut it out, at least for a period of time, because you're probably dependent on it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Sorry, you don't have to do it, but that's my opinion. Harriet, cutting coffee was quite difficult, and it has nothing to do with caffeine, but rather the whole ritual around it. We'll see how long I will last. It's funny because I think I mentioned that before. I didn't have coffee yesterday. I haven't had coffee today. And I probably will have coffee Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I drink egg coffee at work. It keeps me full and keeps me sane. As many of you know, I don't really enjoy my job anymore, so it always feels better to have some egg coffee when I can have it and do some work at the same time. It kind of helps. So I think it's a good thing. I'm kind of rotating in and out, but I've never had a problem quitting coffee. But sure, in the morning when I get hungry because I'm used to having a coffee, I'm like, what am I supposed to eat? And then I have to cook something, like some eggs or something. But yesterday I just had some halloumi, which was fine. And I thought before that halloumi might give me a headache, but I've proven myself wrong, so that wasn't it. I think I can't remember if it's about 10 days it takes for the receptors to kind of reset when you're quitting coffee. So if you're going to quit for a period of time to get more sensitive to it again, give it about 10 days. I think something like that. And then you can actually get some effect out of it again. I say I've never noticed anything from coffee. Not when I'm quitting, not when I'm starting it. It's just like, it's babies apparently have high amounts of carb and fat in their milk. That's why I was wondering about the Randall cycle. Cole Robinson is advocating a high-fat, sugar metabolic diet at the moment. I'm a fan of still a high-fat, sugar metabolic diet. Why would you do that? It's been very low carb before. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen anything myself, but I would have to look into that if I'm going to know what you're talking about. If you are doing I'm assuming that this is together with intermittent fasting again. So let's say you do a 48-hour fast, a refeed, and then you continue fasting again. You could do a high fat, high sugar meal. Your body's not going to kind of really know what to process first because of the Randall cycle. Well, it will make a choice and it will take the sugar, but it's going to be like the fat is going to be there. It's going to be taking a while. But having said that, when you've been fasting, you have growth hormones all over your bloodstream, etc., and your body is going to be very susceptible to taking all of this in, metabolize it really quickly, and start building your body up again because you obviously been fasting, so you've been breaking it down. So you would probably use all of these nutrients. It's not going to make you insulin resistant or making you fat or anything if this is a one refeeding meal. So whatever you do, make sure that it's good quality foods. You don't put a lot of toxins, etc., into your body after you've been fasting. So I don't think this is going to be a huge problem. I really don't. But don't go for the ice cream because that contains fat and maybe if you make your own from really good ingredients, but you kind of get what I'm trying to say is that make sure that it's quality food. So if you're going to do this at this time, is it the ideal type of food for a human being? Maybe not. Why is he saying this? I don't know. Maybe it's just like to give you quick energy, and maybe because it's easier to metabolize, sugar at this point when you're refeeding, if that's what he means. So I don't know exactly what he said, but if that's what it is, I think that might be why he's saying it. So yes, so the Randall cycle is mainly a problem when you are eating too much energy as well. That's when it's mainly a problem. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind as well. So if you're just refeeding one meal and then you start fasting again, it's not going to be a problem. This is the only addiction I have left, coffee. Well, I'm glad for you if that's the only one. But sometimes it's good to quit because it's kind of taxing on your adrenals. So if you can quit it, it might be good for you. And then you can start again if you want. Let's see. Richard says, I used to get migraines often, sometimes twice a week. After being carnivore for a while, they almost stopped. Now they seem to come back if I don't sleep or eat rubbish food. Yeah. For me, I think I've noticed when I'm really stressed at work, that can trigger a migraine. And I don't think I've ever had stress migraines before. So that's something that is kind of new to me. So I'm a little bit hesitant to blame work because I don't really know. But I suspect that that is what it is. Signs and biases. Babes have a high heart rate and uses more glucose as fuel. There's a transition within a year away from glucose. In adults, the heart uses primarily fatty acids, and ketone bodies if available. Fair enough. Just reiterating, I hate bread so much. Good. I'm glad you do, Luke, and you still didn't answer my question. You really don't want to come on my stream, do you? I will get migraines from dairy that isn't whole. They're obsessed with skimmed milk dairy in Canada. The more processed dairy, the worse their migraines. Yeah, I think that's kind of common, actually, for people that don't tolerate it very well. Mita, I had some veg stir fry today. First in many a moon, a low carb cooked in coconut oil. That was lunchtime, and my stress went through the roof. Still feeling anxious now, many hours later. Right, that's interesting. That's just how some people react. I wouldn't necessarily notice that at all, which is quite funny. If I can get in here. Right. Be watching. Very helpful. Thanks, Pam. Makes sense. I had a carb slip up yesterday. Yeah. Most people have carb slip ups, and you know, as much as we can sit and say that a carnivorous way of eating is the ideal diet, most of us are probably going to eat other things every now and then, unless we have some sort of disease, or we're just transitioning to a more permanent carnivore diet over time, which might be, in 3 years' time, you might not want those carbs anymore. But it usually takes a while to kind of get used to swapping your diet permanently, and that's fine, as long as you don't have an autoimmune disease or something that would just get aggravated by you adding them in, because then you're not going to feel good. You can still do it, obviously, but it's not great. Is bot streaming in half an hour? There's no post showing in my YouTube account. I'm assuming so. I'm gonna have a look. And meanwhile, you guys, I can't do it here, so I'm gonna post here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel on Library, you can do that there. I think you should be doing that. So let me have a look if he's just gone into his office. I can hear him, so I'm kind of assuming that he's streaming in 20 minutes. I can't see anything either. So it's not like you are missing something, Patricia. I don't think the stream is up there, but I'm pretty sure he will be streaming. Maybe. I kind of just assume that he would be doing it. I would be surprised if he's not. Luke, Pim, don't know if I mentioned this, but I've gained like 3 kilos ever since I got home when quarantine started. Good for bulking. I just hope I'm not wrecking my body too much. Oh, do you know what it is? I mean, you have been doing a lot of push-ups, so maybe it's just pecs. I'm just kidding. Is it just, what have you gained? Is it fat? Do you know? Because 3 kilos of muscle, but sweet. Not very likely that it's all muscle, but who knows? Richard, my sleep is a disaster. I've started to try white noise for sleep. New pillow is a great idea, thanks. Yeah, I have these memory foam, the Tempur pillows. I really like them to just get my head kind of straight. I don't know, Bart is always sleeping like 3 pillows or something. He's laying like that, and I don't understand it. I would have a headache every morning, I think. Bart diet, pizza beer. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. If he didn't care at all, that's what he would be eating 24/7 probably. And then some chocolate and chips in there as well, probably. Okay. Look, not today, Pim. It's really busy around the home. Sad. Okay, next week. Is that what you've been doing, Luke? You've been eating bread. Is that why you gained 3 kilos? Let's see. Oh my god, it's jumping. Gong Fu says a pizza day keeps Bot and me happy. That's just artificial happiness, and you'll soon feel pretty average. At least he does. Oh my god. And then it blows up like a balloon. Because he's gluten intolerant for sure. So he really shouldn't be eating that. Just saying. Oh, here's my link again. So if you didn't sign up, go there, sign up. Support the library. Even though I'm a little bit annoyed, and I'm waiting on purpose because I want to see how long it takes. So if you have a large channel like Bart, it just takes a few hours before they sync his channel. I had my video up with Sally K. Norton on, so 4 days ago, pretty much 4 days and 2 hours ago, and it's still not synced to library. So I'm a little bit fucked off with that, but I'm not going to do it manually because I want to see how long it takes them. But I still want that video to come up. So it would be interesting to see how long it's going to take for this live stream to come up, because last week it only took a day or two before it actually was up. So yeah, this is very strange. It's taking forever. Luke says, a bit more fat than I liked. My abs are barely visible and slight love handles, but I'm bigger overall. Arms, the biggest I've ever had. Bolder shoulders and legs also. Okay. Just go back to what you were doing before and keep working out. You'll be fine. Mum makes some crap I can't really refuse to eat. Yes, you can. This is a pretty poor excuse, Luke. Of course you can. Zombie, make carnivore pizza, a chicken and cheese shuffle base. Zombie has a cool library channel as well about leatherwork. So if you want to make cool things out of leather, Zombie, post your channel in the chat so people can go and sign up for you too. Super cool. Dennis Smith says, to be honest, Pim, I will live on pizza and beer too. I don't really, I mean, I eat pizza and sometimes it's nice, but I'm usually having like a slice or two and then I'm bloody done because I don't like it that much. But my mum used to have me go buy pizza like once a week when I was a kid because she couldn't be fucked cooking every day. So it's like, here, take the money, go and buy pizza. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go and buy pizza because I didn't even like it. And then I had to go and buy it. So yeah, I'm not a huge pizza fan. Everyone was kind of jealous at me for having, getting pizza once a week, and I didn't even want it. I'm pretty sure wheat triggers depressive thoughts and mood for me. Yeah, I think it does for a lot of people, like most people, probably. Kayak 11. Yes, you can, Luke. Control your PFC over your reptilian brain, dopamine pleasure pathway. Yes. Of course you can say no if you want to. You're welcome, but you don't need to say thanks. I thought it was super cool. That's something that I could maybe... I do have some creativity in me, but I haven't been using it a lot. I don't have time, literally. So I'm just hanging around YouTube and making videos, clearly. Luke, I'm glad I managed to cut a lot of my carbs, or else the situation would be worse. I'm having carnivore dinners like 5 to 6 days of the week. Yay! That's good. I'm glad you do, Luke. Okay, so it looks like we are at the end. So if you have any more questions, get them in now. Otherwise, I think we are done for now. Going to make videos about how to make belts, feet shoes, sofa, etc. I also make things. Yeah. So put the link up in the channel, or put the link up here in the chat so people can actually see it. Because I can't remember what it was called. I just watched you make that is called. I don't even know what you call it with stuff. You see, my brain is like, also just say I'm Swedish. I don't know what it's called in English. And then when someone tells me, I actually knew. Misery Smith Leather. So go to library and find that. So first you can go there. That will take you to library and you can subscribe to my channel. And then you search for Mr. Smith Leather and you will be fine. Yes. Follow Zombie on library. Yes. Necro's back. Cool. Okay, I think that was all. And thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, something that you want to bring up, then let me know. You can also do, let's see if I can find that. I can't find it. Never mind. It doesn't really matter. Let's see. There's some more comments. What's my opinion on filmjölk? I used to actually like filmjölk. It's like, it's not yogurty, but it's sort of fermented, quite much thinner than yogurt, pretty much a milk product. I used to eat that every now and then, but I used to also have sugar in it because I couldn't do it without sugar because it's a bit sour. And then when I moved to Gothenburg, what they had there is like gingerbread tasting filmjölk around Christmas, and that is just like magic. And obviously there's some sugar in there, but yeah, I do like it. I don't think it's probably a good thing, but as yogurt, I don't think there's a live culture in it, unfortunately, as most yogurts aren't. Richard, thank you very much. Thanks for your admission fee. I appreciate that. So if everyone else, if I have to put it in manually because I have to sort some links out, but you can, if you want to support me and what I'm doing, you can actually join my Patreon and you can find it there. And you can join for like $1 a month if you like, and I would really appreciate all of your support. Or if you want to pay your admission fee like Richard does, then you can just super chat or whatever. Everything's welcome. Thank you so much. Okay, so Zombie says, used to have all a leather business and starting to get back into it now. My animal guilt has gone. Sweet. But it's good. Someone has to do something with the leather. We're not killing the cows just to use the leather. We're actually eating them as well. So I think that's a good thing. Thanks, Be Watching. Thanks for having you here, for being here. I say it was nice having you here. Yes, thanks, Patty Ann. Thank you, Siren. Thanks, Daniel. Yes, jump over and see if he's actually doing something there. Will be good. Oh, Mark. Mwah, thank you. You too, Bo. Have a good week, and I'll hopefully see you again next weekend. Let's see. Steve, you're a little bit late, but thanks for hopping in. I hope to see you next week, though. Thank you, Pim. Hopefully I will be on a stream soon. Yes, I hope so. I'm also still have to get back to monk mode. I want to have him on the stream. Thanks for the reply. Feed milk is the only thing I consume apart from other animal-based products. Thanks, Pim. Awesome. If you feel good with it, why not? Just do it. Exactly. There's no video link to click for bot stream yet. So I'm gonna end this in a second and I'm gonna go and see if he's doing it or not. Do you eat carbs? I do. I eat blueberries and sometimes I cheat. the season is kind of over now, but I used to pick like figs from the fig trees in the park next to here, etc. They put out some apples at work the other day, and I did eat a few apples. So I do eat some carbs, but I don't eat them every day, and I don't eat huge amounts of them. But I'm kind of an opportunistic carnivore. Thank you, Bowerbird. How much carbs do I eat per day? I don't know. 20 grams, 10 grams, 0 grams. If I cheat, maybe 50 to 100 grams. I have no idea. So on average, let's say I'll eat maybe 20. I'm just guessing. I don't count, but I don't eat a lot. Cornell, famous queen, thank you so much for your remaining lanes. Why weren't you here asking questions, Cornell? I missed you. And thank you for your contribution, though. One could say Pim is our supreme leader. Oh, am I? Have you told Bart that? Because he thinks that he's in charge. Just saying. What about fiber? I don't care about fiber, but I do get fiber in my blueberries. But no, I don't think fiber is necessary at all. Excuse me. Carbs are sometimes food, yes. Now you start chatting away when I'm going to close the chat. Pigs are carnivore apparently due to the wasps in them, or so vegans say. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I haven't seen any wasps in my figs, in the fresh ones. I thought they were dates. Isn't it dates that's supposed to have them in them? Can't remember. See, Cornell says the Bart holds the title of Supreme Leader. Now we're going to have to fight about the title. So maybe I should challenge him to an MMA fight, cage fight. Oh, don't go, Pim. Why not? Yes, Cornell was later than you, Bowerbird. Just ask Pim to start again. Yeah, but he's not you going through, so I can't do that. Eggs are good if you tolerate them. Eggs are awesome unless you get some side effects from them. Then I wouldn't touch them because some people are sensitive to eggs. In that case, do not eat them. But for most people, they're very nutritious and good. So then I say do eat them. You guys are also funny. I agree. It's like, bye, I'm going to close the stream now. And everyone starts chatting. So I have to kind of keep going. But I was going to check if he was actually going to stream because he hasn't done anything. Why seafood gets no love on carnivore? I only read about butter, eggs, and beef. I don't know. I don't like seafood. I do eat prawns, though. But in general, I don't like seafood. So for me, it's purely a taste matter. I can't see a reason why you shouldn't be eating it if you like it. Maybe it's not enough fat for most people to feel okay with it. It's like chicken. It doesn't get much love either. They're both fairly lean. I was making breakfast and doing mum stuff for the first hour of the stream, but I was listening. Fair enough. I always come last. Oh. Okay, now I've run out of comments. This is the last one. Sort of this one. I can live off of seafoods. And that's fine if you want to do that. But there is a little bit of a risk that you might not get enough fat on that. So I'm going to leave the... I appreciate the stream. Thank you. I'm going to leave the chat going. I'm going to close this one and I'm going to run in there, check what's going on, and I'll come back to the chat and I will type in the chat for you to let you know what's happening, okay? Is that a good deal? I'm going to turn this off now. So thank you so much, and I will see you again next week, and I will type in the chat in a second.